UCF Volleyball program, a storied history, and really trying to do everything we can to elevate it to a new level, which is going to be difficult because the bar has been set extremely high, but that was part of the attraction for me in coming and taking this position. So excited to get to know you all over the coming years and happy to answer any questions you have.
Coach, obviously now since you've settled in, what have you learned about the school, the program, and then this roster that you got?
Yeah, still not settled in, but learning as we go. The school is something, a place I've been fairly familiar with, being in Florida for the last 10, 11 years. So that was something I was able to watch from afar and understand, I think, the trajectory of UCF, both university-wide, department-wide, and of course was able to follow volleyball closely as well. As far as the roster, we're learning more every single day. Learning personalities, learning strengths, learning weaknesses, where we're going to be vulnerable, what we need to focus our attention on in order to position ourselves to be able to compete at the level that I expect. But every day is another opportunity for us to gather information and then make the important decisions of what we're going to do relative to that information.
Coach, I want to talk on your player evaluation. How do you evaluate what makes a good leader, and who are maybe some people that have already stood out to you as leaders?
Yeah, evaluation of leadership takes time. It takes a level of intimacy of learning what makes somebody tick and watching them in different environments and different interactions to kind of see how they respond, their own awareness of the influence they have on the people that they are communicating with at that moment. So that's going to be really important for me in making decisions. But who I've been impressed with, and I've spoken about this a few times, I've been really impressed with the young women that were already in place, that are here, that are continue to be a part of the UCF program. And I think that's a testament to a culture that goes beyond just volleyball. It's UCF athletics, it's the UCF community. They've been outstanding, and we're asking them to bring in this new group and ingratiate them to what we're trying to accomplish and get them comfortable in the transition. And they've done a wonderful job. Abby Schomers, who you guys are going to get a chance to speak with in a little bit, is a natural at that. And she was the first person I had a conversation with when I took the position. And it wasn't intentional, other than I knew her position. And oftentimes that position, you tend to find leadership qualities. And I was not disappointed. She was that, is that, and she's going to play a big role in that moving forward.
Coach, during Big 12 Media Days, you talked about getting creative, reimagining what you guys can do to elevate the program.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little more about that and how specifically you guys are able to, get creative and find new approaches?
Yeah, I think one thing I pride myself on in programs that I've been associated with is the ability to find the strengths of each team each year and adjust a system based on those strengths. And so there's not going to be a single thing that defines UCF volleyball, because it's going to change year to year based on the people that we have in the gym. And I think having that flexibility is important. I don't know that I had it when I was younger. It has to be this way. But now, as I've gotten older, hopefully wiser, I've recognized that there's a lot of different ways to find success and play the game. So sometimes we're going to play extremely fast, and sometimes we're going to be focused more on the defensive end. Sometimes we're going to be a serve and block oriented team. So right now, the puzzle is trying to figure out exactly what makes sense for this group for this year. And then there's also long-term views and things we're trying to accomplish. But that's step one in terms of being creative. And the reimagining it is about understanding, yes, we know what this can be. We've seen the successes that UCF Volleyball has had in the past. But I don't want anybody to be content with the idea that we are going to restore us to that level. I think the attraction to being a part of this is that we can hopefully surpass that level. And that's a challenge. And we are looking to attract individuals that are attracted to challenges and hard things and want to test themselves against a bar that is extremely high. So that's it, just getting in the frame of mind where we are okay with saying we want to be great, and these are the steps necessary to get us there.
Coach, you use the word trust as a priority across this program, especially in the past couple of weeks. How have you seen that grow both on and off the court for you as you're in the transition at the same time too?
Yeah, I think you see it in a learning environment. You see it in the engagement of the people you're trying to teach, and obviously we have 15 young women that we're trying to teach right now and transfer a system and a new language. But you can see it in how they respond to that, both body language and things that are even a little less subtle than that. But to really rely on it, they have to know and they have to see, not just me telling them, that we have their best interests at heart, and that is a motivating factor for our staff. So if I'm asking them to be here at 7 a.m. to do this and stay late, they better see us doing the same thing, and hopefully more, and they will. That is the commitment we make to them, is that every minute of the day we are trying to find ways to elevate the program and reimagine what this can be and make them better along the way. That's my number one priority, is that each one of these young women improves as a person, of course as a student, and as a volleyball player. So they come here and they know that they're going to make big strides, and we're going to be a big part of it.
Coach, just 6 returners and 9 newcomers. What's this team's identity? What are other teams going to say about you when they have you?
That's a great question. I asked my team that just 2 days ago. I want to know, and it's starting to take shape, but I asked them, what are we going to pride ourselves on? And again, that fluctuates year to year. There's some standards that will, and traits that will continue annually, but this group, I hope there is a joy and a passion to playing the game, because we get to do this. It is an absolute privilege to be able to go in there every day and work, and I want the fans to be able to see that and then exude that out on the floor, the enjoyment that they have for the game and for the process. I hope that it is going to be toughness, competitiveness. I hope that they are going to be problem solvers. I think that's really important, and we preach that. We want to be a solutions-based type program where we can't just identify, well, this is wrong, that's not good enough, this isn't good enough. Well, that's the easy part. How are we going to fix it? How are we going to get better? And we're trying to push that upon them, because it expands beyond just what's happening for a team. Each individual has their own battles as well. How do I get better at this? I'm not good enough at that. The answer is, let's find a solution together and work towards improvement.
Earlier you mentioned flexibility. What are the challenges that come about building team chemistry and that culture?
Personalities and meshing personalities and skill sets, and people coming from different backgrounds, but that's also the draw to me, is I want people that are different, and we don't want them to be all the same. We want them to share certain characteristics and value certain things that we can all agree on, but outside of that, I want 15 unique personalities that all bring something different to the table, and I think ultimately that kind of diversity is going to be better. Learning how to communicate with one another, which is going to be really important when we start to face adversity. And quite honestly, up to this point, there's no adversity. It's a fresh start. That's exciting. Preseason just started. Everybody's loving each other. There hasn't been a lineup put up yet. We haven't been put in a position with an opponent that we don't really know that's going to press us. So the real challenge is going to be seeing how we respond in those moments. But I think they're better suited today than they were even 2 weeks ago for that.
Coach, how does one go about in the first year taking on the big challenge of the Big 12 and trying to get success there?
Yeah, that's the biggest adjustment. I've spent a decade within the same conference, and you begin to understand how the opposing coaches train, coach, tactically, how do they recruit, the kind of profile they're looking at athletically, how do I need to maintain a program to make sure that we're at the top. And this is all going to be new for me. And the first thing we did as a staff was we dove in immediately to video. And there's a lot that you can gain from that, but there's some limitations. We dove into the statistics. A lot of information you can pull from there that tells a story, but it won't tell the whole story. We won't know until we go through it. So we're leaning heavily on the girls that have been through a Big 12 schedule to get as much information as we can to be best prepared. Every year we're here, we will get better at that, but that is absolutely a challenge right now. So we're taking everything we can, trying to use it to our advantage, understanding that there's going to be some limitations.
Coach, you talked about how you're familiar with UCF being in the same state for a long time. This season marks 50 years for UCF volleyball. So what has it meant to you, having been around the program in the sense of being in the same state, but now you are a part of that program for this milestone season?
Like I said when I introduced myself, it's an absolute honor. I've had the pleasure to meet some of these women that were here. I met at least one, maybe two from that inaugural team. I've known people in different generations within the program. We've reached out to quite a few alumni, asking them for their involvement with some things with the team, just communication and otherwise. And it's just a level of pride that not only do I have, our players have, and we should have for the history and the people that came before us, because it set the stage for the things that we're now able to do. So I've said before, this is a great and exciting year, and the timing to me is perfect, right? You have the present and the future, and we get to mesh that with the past and the people that were really the architects of where we're at right now, and will influence where we're going. So I'm really excited to get to know them more over the course of the season, through the different alumni events and just through basic communication that we have through email, phone calls, and otherwise. But proud to be the torchbearer for the time being for this program based on the 50 years they've had.
Coach, on the Instagram page, they kind of built it up on how you said this wasn't a rebuild.
Yeah, I hate that term. Absolutely.
How does it feel for you to kind of step into that role, especially with all these newcomers, and it, for some people, might feel like a rebuild? How do you make it not feel that way?
Well, by the tone of the communication, the content of the communication, just rebuild to me, there's a connotation of something's bad now, and this is going to take some time, and it's out in the future, and we are here to do something immediately. And let me put it this way. We have a couple fifth years or seniors that chose to come here as transfers. How would that look if we say, guys, in 3 years, we're gonna be really good? That's not how my brain works. It is about what can we get right now to put ourselves in position to be successful. And I believe it, and we communicate that to them, and that's why those individuals chose to be a part of that. We also have some upperclassmen that if our long-term view is 3-4 years down the road, well, what is their role in that other than setting the stage for somebody else? We are about putting each player in a position to create, not maintain. Like, they are here to do something now. And so they will be pushed, and the expectation is such that they're going to be pushed daily to contribute to that view. So again, it's just the timeline of rebuilding. In my head, I think people look too far out. I think that there's enough talent, there's enough information to know that it can be happening here quickly. We've seen it actually in the Big 12 multiple times over the last 5-6 years. There's a lot of mobility opportunities within the Big 12, but you got to do the right things and you've got to have the right personnel to do it.
Coach, what has it been like on the recruiting trail, whether it's high school or the portal? What were you looking for? And then who among these newcomers this time around do you think is in store for a real good year?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of excitement. I have a lot of relationships. Of course, throughout the country, you do this as long as I have, and I'm getting pretty old now, it says the gray hair here, but especially in the state of Florida, between my stay at University of Miami, FGCU, that's close to 15 years, there are relationships here with club coaches, important people within the volleyball community, and there's a lot of excitement behind the decision, behind the staff that we brought in, behind the vision that we have. So that is really good. We've got to capitalize on it, got to bottle it up and make sure we can utilize that to get some really good recruits here on the front end, which I believe we have. As far as the newcomers, the true freshmen that have come in, they've all had an impact. I've been really impressed. That transition is challenging. It's challenging anywhere, but to ask them to come in as true freshmen and compete in a gym that's preparing for a Big 12 season, I wasn't sure what to expect. They have exceeded my expectations. We have a nice balance of physicality for the positions that we need to be physical to be able to be effective within the conference. And then those that are back row players and otherwise are really skilled. And so we're just fine tuning rather than coming in with a blank canvas and having to build them out. They've already got a great foundation to start from.
Going off that success, for you with your name, it's always been associated with winning. In 2025, what does a winner look like in your eyes here in this program?
My answer will always be the same. We should be playing in the postseason every year, and every decision I make is going to be with that in mind. So I believe we can be an NCAA tournament team this year, and every day in the practice gym, they're reminded that that's the expectation. We're at the point where I no longer have to say it. They know it. They absolutely believe it. But yeah, that has just got to be the standard moving forward. And I do think a little bit more long term, we've got to put ourselves in position to be in a spot to compete for championships. That's what attracted me to this place. Terry's own vision for all the sports here, that we can put them in spots where they can compete for Big 12 championships. That challenge is enticing and attractive. That's why I'm standing in front of this podium, and the kinds of players that we're going to be trying to bring in are going to believe that they can contribute to that.
One or two more. Speak of players like Skylar, for example, who knows you, knows the system, and how important that is to share that with her teammates and some of the other new faces you brought in?
Yeah, there's a comfort level, I think, on both ends. Comfortable for her, she knows what she's getting to a certain degree. There's a lot of change still. And for me, I know the buttons that I can push with Skylar, so while I'm still learning that from our other players, I know that's a kid who's extremely talented, that can be coached hard and can be held to a standard. And I think when other players see that and recognize the way that she manages it, and that's probably the most telling thing. That's what I think reverberates around the other individuals in the locker room and on the court at those moments.
You mentioned making the postseason is always the goal.
Yeah.
What are some early strengths that you've seen that will allow that team to do it this season?
Without question, the floor defense is miles ahead of what I was expecting. We've got a nice core of defensive players, but you couple that with players that are just getting the opportunity to play 6 rotations. We're keeping the ball off the floor, which makes those rallies a little bit longer, which generates more opportunities to point score, which really is where we're gonna make some strides. So we've got to generate the looks, and those players are doing exactly that. So really pleased with that. Blocking is a big part of my priority and our staff's priority to see some improvements, and that's happening really quickly as well. And they're grasping the concepts, the systems, the things we're asking of them. So those are the 2 areas right now that I think that immediately can have a positive impact on what we're doing.
So season's coming right around the corner for you guys. I mean, do you feel like this team is game ready?
Yeah, honestly, I like the amount of strides that I think we have made in the last, even the people that were here in the spring and then just this summer semester. We've made huge strides defensively, offensively. Our setters and our hitters are really starting to connect, and it's honestly like beautiful. You like volleyball like that? It's like almost like a song, and it's just been working together really, really well. And so I'm so stoked for our first game. I think we're completely ready, and we're just going to continue to be more ready every single practice going into this last week of 2 days.
How do you feel on the team's mindset of postseason or bust?
Yeah, I think Matt has made it very, very clear from the get-go that is our goal, that we are playing in that tournament in December. And so he instills that in us every single day. Hey, this is what we're working towards, this is what we're going to do, and we're not going to stop at anything until we get that. And so I think that that's him leading that charge and us following and continuing to push each other is something that, like, you can't beat it, honestly. Like, with all the players pushing each other together and not just being solely coach-led, you know, it's been something that's been really awesome for us, so I'm really excited.
What are some personal strengths of yourself that are going to play into getting to the postseason?
Yeah, you know, I could say, point out the obvious and say that my height plays a big role and like my advantages on the court for sure. And I'm just continuing to just sharpen my passing and my defensive skills. I do want to be a threat in the back row as well. I don't want that to stand out as a weakness or something that like I'm the target, you know, which typically outsides tend to be the target. But more defensively, I want to be able to pick up balls and to work in transition and still be like an option for back row attack. And so that's something that I've been really trying to hone in on. And then the offense obviously comes a little bit more naturally than defense to me, but continuing to try to hit harder and shoot higher and stronger, get stronger in the weight room. So.
If you could describe this team going into this season with one word, what would it be?
I would say relentless. No, I think all of us, like especially seniors coming in that are transfers, freshmen coming in that are learning and growing and looking to be in one of those positions down the road. And so I think that we're all super relentless when we get into practice. I think none of us are stopping at anything, and we're all pushing each other as hard as we possibly can. And it's so competitive. The gym is just like so competitive, and that comes from both the coaches and the players. So yeah, I think that all of us are on the complete same page, which is awesome. We all have just the tournament in mind and this Big 12 season. You know, we want to make the top half, and we're going to. And I think that if we all just stick with that mindset, I think anything is possible.
For your coach to stand up at the podium and say that you're basically one of the leaders that he's recognized, I mean, how does that make you feel, and how do you see that within yourself?
Yeah, I was honestly honored that he trusts me in that position. Obviously, he got here 6 months ago, and that was something that he identified right away, and Abby and Sasha and some of the newcomers as well. And so it's it's definitely a confidence booster, but it's also it puts a lot of expectation on myself and the other leaders that we are setting an example, and we're to push the younger players and to also show them that this is how we do things and this is how they should continue to do things when we leave. And so but I'm honored to that he is entrusted me with that, and I hope that I can do everything I can to be that way for this team this year.
So, what is it like now? Because sure, there might be some familiar elements here. You have Ella coming with you, of course, Coach Botsford, and Kate and Coach Kate as well.
Yeah.
But this brand new environment.
Yeah.
What's it like?
Yeah, it's definitely been a big transition for sure. I'm coming from a mid-major conference, mid-major school. A lot of differences there. However, I kind of look at it as it was a sign. I was ready for my next adventure, my next challenge. I think Coach Kate and Coach Matt were also ready for that, and I'm so glad that I could go alongside them. I think that the transition has only been made easier with this group of girls that I've been with. We have such a great support group as well, of just everyone a part of athletics and the staff. I couldn't, have made this decision if it wasn't for them. So the transition has been challenging for sure, but I think it's only up from here.
How do you feel like this team really embodies your own strengths? Is there somebody on the team or multiple people on the team that kind of help you be you?
Yeah, without a doubt, I actually came here with another athlete from Florida Gulf Coast University, Ella, and she has been there with me, and we knew Matt previously, and then coming here and being able to have that support system to relate back to, but then also realize we're both here to grow and become a new version of ourselves in a new era of volleyball. But having each other as a support system has been absolutely unreal.
What is it like to make the jump? The jump. What does it mean to make that jump from mid-major to Team Volleyball here last year?
Yeah, I feel so blessed that I have this opportunity to even go from competing in the ASUN to now competing in the Big 12. Not a lot of athletes get that opportunity, and I also take it as this is my challenge, my 5th year, and I'm here to, make waves in the conference, and I'm super excited about that and our new era of volleyball at UCF.
Coach talked on how his mentality is there's no rebuild. This is go to the postseason or you don't. So how do you as a player kind of get in that mindset as well? And he said he doesn't even have to say it to you guys anymore. So how does that kind of contribute in your head?
Yeah. I think there are so many different components and personalities and pieces on our team right now. And as soon as we all combine and we mix together, it is the maximum amount of competition you could ever imagine, and he sees that, and that's what drives us. Our competition absolutely drives us to become the best athletes that we can. I also think realizing our potential is leading us to make huge strides in the gym, and knowing that we can be top half or greater in the conference. We can get a bid to the NCAA tournament. Having those big goals, we're pushing so hard. We're creating the best goals for ourselves, and I think we're actually taking really good steps to meet them.
What's it been like coming in, working with Avon? She got Big 12. What's it like to be working with her?
Yeah, getting the opportunity to play with some of these athletes is absolutely awesome. Big 12 athletes are crazy, super athletic. They have great court IQ, all of the above, and getting the opportunity to play alongside all of them from us also all over the country is just such a blessing, and I'm super excited. Like I said, we have so many different pieces this year to put the pieces of the puzzle together and see how far we can go.
With the season right around the corner, do you feel like this team is game ready?
Yeah, we're closing in on the back half of our preseason, and I would definitely say we are making some huge steps towards top half of the conference or greater, and I think we're ready, honestly. We're starting to come up with those, game-like rotations and doing game-like situations, and when you see that, it's like sparks are flying. So I think we're ready.
Coach talked on the court IQ as well as you. I mean, what are some things that you believe is this team's strengths?
Yeah, I think just our ability to communicate, our ability to play every position. We have a lot of hitters that are just utility players. You throw them in left side, right side, back row. They're able to do it all, and that is what you need. You need players that can move on their feet, adapt on their feet. The game of volleyball is all about analyzing what's going on and making quick changes based on that. So I think that is probably one of our greatest strengths. If we see somewhere that we're lacking in, we immediately talk about it, make the adjustment, and we work towards fixing it.
Like, what is that like being seen, watching it just like grow to like what it is now?
Yeah, it's so amazing. I can't even believe how much it's grown just in the past few years, and I'm lucky that I'm in the college era while it's happening, and I just hope to see that it grows more, especially in Florida. I'm starting to work with clubs here, so just trying to grow the sport a lot, and being from Nebraska, I take that very seriously, and I want it to be like it is in Nebraska for Florida. So there's so much talent here, and there's so much talent all across the country, so volleyball, I'm biased, but I think it's the best sport. So I'm just trying to grow as much as I can, take part in coaching, running camps, anything like that, as long as playing.
What clubs are you involved with down here?
I'm going to be the assistant coach for 18 Orange at 407.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Any new excitement like coming with that territory coaching?
You know, I coached in Nebraska. All throughout high school, I was lucky enough my club let me coach. So, and whenever I go back, I work some camps, and I love coaching because it just spreads awareness for volleyball, and I want to teach the younger generation, like, you're supposed to love it. Like, it's not supposed to be strict all the time, like, but I just love spreading my knowledge of volleyball and just spreading with the younger generations and just helping them where they want to be.
Thank you, Abby. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Take it away, Eric.
You're a master. It was good to see you work for a kid. All right, Abby, just tell me what's it been like. You've been seeing a lot of transitions since your time here. What's it been like transitioning to the staff?
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't a hard transition at all. You know, after last season, we took Christmas break and we waited to see who they were going to hire, and we trusted Terry and Chris. And, you know, once we met Matt on the Zoom, I actually called him a few days later just to get in contact with him, introduce myself, obviously, and all of that. And, you know, we agreed on that phone call that we had the same mindset since day one for this program and for the future of this program. And all of us staying loyal that have been here in the past, staying loyal to him and his new staff and his new vision for this program. It was really exciting to hear, and I was very excited to just get in the gym. And we were all gym rats in the spring, and, you know, it's going to pay off this fall.
How is this offensive system similar to what you've run before, or how is it different?
It's a lot faster than what we've run before, so that was definitely an adjustment in the spring. But you just have to have that growth mindset, and honestly, you have to be okay with making errors and know what a good error is and what a bad error is, and limit those as much as possible. And, you know, our coaches were very understanding in the spring with learning it, and once we got it, we were so excited to just keep doing it and going after it.
I want to talk on the coach up there whenever he spoke on preseason ideals, and, you know, he wants to get you guys to the postseason.
Yeah.
Is that something you truly believe in? And what is the team chemistry like in order to get to that mindset?
That is my biggest goal, biggest, you know, thing for this season is making it to the postseason and making a run in the postseason, not just making one game, but making a run back there. So, yeah, you know, we agreed again on day one that we were going to do this, and every recruit that he's gotten, every transfer that he's gotten, he's shared that vision with them and with the returners. Like, this is what we will be doing, and we're not waiting 2 or 3 years to get in the groove. Like, it's going to be this year. And obviously me, I know I'm a redshirt junior, but I only got a few years left, so I'm like, I don't want to wait a few years. Like, I want to make this run this year. So, you know, really just being a gym rat this spring and getting in there, and then obviously with the new girls this summer, getting in the gym whenever we can, and then now in preseason just going after it and not letting balls drop and really having a gritty mindset.
I remember, it seemed like only yesterday you were there redshirting watching Amber Olsen play. What did you learn from her, being around her, and how do you apply that to your playing time here?
Yeah, Amber was a great mentor. I was truly honored just to like watch her and observe. I learned a lot, and it made me take a step back because obviously being a freshman in college, you're not in that leadership role like I had been in high school and for my club team. So I really just gained a new perspective of like trying to help someone that's 5 years older than me. You know, we're partners right now, so it's like, how am I gonna help her and how is she gonna help me? So it's kind of that relationship, but I learned so much from her and just her leadership and her skill set. Yeah, just every day in the gym was great and I learned so much from her.
How are you a different player today than you were, say, maybe a year ago or 2 years ago?
Ooh, good question. I would say I'm a lot more dynamic and more confident. I go into the practice every day being like, I've done this before, I know what I'm doing, and that's a different mindset than going into practice and being like, I have to do this again, so having that confidence change was a huge boost for me, and my skill set, going into practice every day and then games, it really is transferable, just having that mindset every single day, and it helps me be more dynamic when I have more confidence. So obviously you can always have better confidence, but having that confidence boost has really helped me, especially from like sophomore, junior year into this senior year, this leadership role. I've really taken that into account.
If you could describe this team in one word, what would that word be?
Ooh, gritty. I'm gonna always go back to gritty. We're in the gym twice a day right now, but you would not know if people are tired. Like, they are going after it and just killing it. Like, I am amazed by it. Even our freshmen, our transfers, fifth years, like however many years you've been in college, they are just getting after it, and I'm super excited to see us in gameplay, because we are just so dynamic, so competitive, so athletic that we all blend together very, very well, and it's a lot of fun.
What do you feel like your personal strengths are?
I would say I'm a good, calm leader, but I can get on people when I need to, or myself. I can get on them. I can get on myself. I would say, honestly, calm, cool, collected, with a little bit of edge. Like, I try and stay calm as much as possible, but also have that urgency and help my team win however I can. And always having stuff together. Like, I always try to be as organized as possible, especially in my position. I'm thinking of about a million things at once. So just always trying to think about the next play, the last play, the current play, seeing how I can set my teammates up for better success and how we're going to win.